but it's such a weird thing for like Star Wars to do right now, where they like release these Hasbro figures, like Marvel Legends and stuff. But you get the show first, and it takes almost like a year for some things to come out, um, show wise. Um, I don't have an example on top of my head right now, but there is something that it was rattling my brain about that.
Well, I mean, like they're really like 50-50. Like you take like a show like Kenobi or Ahsoka, and those figures were coming out like a little bit like right before the show and during the show.
Mm.
And then you have, yeah, the Acolyte's another example where they have them readily available. And then you have, shoot, I'm literally looking at my display right now.
Is it freezing?
No, Book of Boba Fett
Oh,
figures,
oh, you're
like
just
those. Yeah, I'm just like looking at it, like just trying to like rattle my brain. Like the Book of Boba Fett figures, we didn't get like the Cad Bane, um, the new Mando, Pike Soldier
yeah,
until like a couple months ago, and that show's like what 2 or 3 years old now.
yeah. It's pretty fucking old now, and you still see. Yeah, I just saw one of the Pike people on a peg at Walmart. I was just like, damn, that guy. It's been forever. Like you almost forget like where it's from until you fucking read the label. It's like, oh, Book of Boba Fett. That was like how long ago? Like, jeez.
It's like one of those things where, for like a highly desirable character, I would rather have the best figure possible,
Hmm.
like not Ben, sorry, Shin and Balin Skull from Ahsoka.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, I want figures of those characters, and they had them available when the show was coming out, but they're not accurate. Like that whole
Yeah,
Ahsoka wave, that was just lazy. Like they got the figures out, but they look like crap. But then
Balin.
you take like, yeah, like short
God.
Balin. But then you take a show like Book of Boba Fett, where those figures look
Yeah,
amazing, but it's 2 to 3 years after the show's already been out, and now, and even like the uh, Pike Soldier, I don't know anyone really going out of their way to buy that because it's just army builder.
hmm,
The Tuscan Chieftain is cool, but kind of was in like 2 episodes.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Plus, it's
It's a toss up, really.
you got like the chieftain, and then like the archive, the regular. God, you said the name just now, and I feel like such a dumbass. The Sand People,
Okay.
Tuscan.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, the regular ones, like just the regular the soldiers and people, they're not readily available. So even if you want an army build, you're gonna have to kind of do it offline, even if they're in stock or not. So it's kind of harder to really do that. Um, I feel like it's kind of hard to army build in general with Black Series because it's like some sites are sold out, they're not, and especially clones. Clones, I feel like are kind of iffy sometimes.
Yeah, well, I mean, people, when they see a clone trooper, they just hit, I want 6 of these right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you never see them. Like, I mean, I do like the fact they have the 2-pack with the regular Phase 2 battle droid,
Hmm.
and then there's the new 2-pack with a stormtrooper and the rebel fleet trooper. And I would be totally down to have another fleet trooper to build out my rebels, because I only have what, 3. I have A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi Rebel. But that fleet trooper, they use the same head sculpt that they did on the figure, what, like 7 years ago,
Yeah.
when they
I
could have thrown another head in there, and there you can have 2 different faces. That's fine.
There was a I haven't even brought it up in like the group chat or just to you. I decided not even like maybe a week ago that I'm going to focus. I think I brought up long like a while back shortly that I'm going to focus on just like the original trilogy characters and kind of get rid of like the rest of the Star Wars collection I have because I know that some that I have like Commander Cody hopefully will get a remold with the new body. Obi-Wan hopefully will get a remold because they just did the Darth Plagueis, not Plague, yeah, Darth Sidious, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
for Revenge of the Sith. So I think on the pipeline they said that there's like a new Anakin coming. That might
There's
have been the Clone
the
Wars
new
one.
Anakin, and yeah, that one's weird because it's pipelined that it's gonna be Anakin in his Clone Wars armor, but during his appearance in Ahsoka. So I'm like, they've already done the Clone Wars Anakin in the 3D Clone Wars
Mm,
wave, but I'm like, well, they're gonna take that body and just put Hayden's actual face on it,
yeah, I can imagine
or
that.
are they gonna like retool the entire thing? Like, I would be like, if they did a whole new body, because the Anakin that they did for that, the upper body's fine, but the lower body are like the old 2013 legs,
Mm,
so you can barely get him to stand. And then the face is like, it's kind of got the same problem as the Figuarts Anakin, where you look at it and you can tell it's an artistic interpretation of
mm.
Hayden Christensen, but it doesn't look like Hayden Christensen.
Like it's definitely like a weird mix because like you could almost like pass him off sometimes for the guy that did the voice acting in the Clone Wars. You could be like maybe maybe I could just say that, but I mean if they're gonna do the old body, you might as well just get a custom head. Honestly,
Yeah,
you might as well just pay the money for that if that's the way they're gonna do it.
yeah. And the few custom heads that I have elevate the figure 10 times.
Hmm. Oh yeah, the ones you sent me a long time ago. My lord, dude.
Like what I've got one on my Boba Fett in his like Tusken Raider robes, because the standard Boba Fett head was fine for a $20 figure, but compared to that, I was like, well, I can't pass that up.
Yeah, with a little bit of cum
Uh,
stain on Boba's face.
yeah. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with
I don't know
that.
what the fuck that was. But
And then the credit collection version of that Boba doesn't have it.
mm,
Like, who's buying the credit collection?
yeah,
I don't know.
I see them all the time, like on pegs.
I put the custom Cal Kestis head on the reissue of the original figure that I got. So now I have the gaming greats just headless sitting on my desk because I don't really know what to do with it now. Shoot, I had another custom head, but I don't.
I know you had Star Killer, I think, didn't you?
Oh, I did get that one, but then I sold the custom Star Killer I had when they announced the official Star Killer.
Hmm.
And I wish I would have kept that head because it looks so much better than the actual figure's head. But at least it's an official figure, and
Yeah, yeah.
I have the accessories to go with him, so that makes up for it. But I mean, that Fett clone, that guy who does the custom heads, I think his commissions have been sold out for like a year.
Oh, the last time I checked, there, yeah, and I think that was probably like the last time I had my old account, the Watto. It's like it was a while back.
Yeah, he is in his description. Oh shoot, yeah. So his last commission wave went up in December of 2022,
Whoa,
and he is still fully booked.
damn, that is crazy. He is super talented though, so every bit of money that goes his way is worth it. Just
Oh
what he
yeah,
creates is insane.
yeah. Like there's a couple other good artists that do custom heads, but um, he's definitely, I think, the most talented.
And his like makes it look so real that you're just like, what is? I know Hasbro can't do it to that level with every figure that they come out with because they do the photo realism or whatever it's called. But geez, if that guy, I don't know, if they did something with him or just employed him, that would be crazy.
Like, I mean, he does occasional like waves that he'll do. Like, here's 20 custom. Uh, Shoot, in the past couple of months, he did like season 3 looks for Hunter at the end of the show.
Mhm.
Uh, Shin, Hati, he did custom heads for her. Uh, but then they're like, oh, here's 20 of them. After they're gone, they're not going to be available until the next commission wave I do. So
Heck. There's a couple cool people that do like custom heads for the Hellboy 1,000 toys I've thought about getting before, but some of them come unpainted, and I'm terrible at painting, so I'm not going to try that.
yeah,
So
I can't do I can't do human faces.
I know Chad's like, what the fuck? What the fuck are we talking about here?
Just
Fuck,
go for it. I don't know anything
fuck
about
are we talking about?
figures.
Well,
No,
yeah,
your figures just bobble their head.
Hey, they
yeah.
don't bobble.
It's just
Well,
the Star Wars
I
one.
guess they don't do that anymore.
I think just the Star Wars ones bubble for some odd reason. I don't know why, but um, shoot, what was the where Chad's not completely like gonna blow his brains out? What's the first topic that you guys want to talk about? Now, Batman, I haven't completed yet, but I will say, Chad, have you completed it?
I did.
Okay, I'm just a fucking
You're slacking.
I'm slacking. I've been watching it on lunch because I don't have data right now on my phone. So whenever I go to work, I'm on Wi-Fi. But whenever I go to the car with my food, I don't have data or anything. So I just watch the downloaded Batman episodes I have. So I think I've completed all the way up until the Catwoman episode where she was put in jail. Spoilers for anybody watching this. Um, when she was put in prison or jail, rather.
hmm
Um, you guys can say spoilers. I don't mind it because either way, I'm going to watch it. Plus, it's not going to be that much of a surprise. It's Batman. I know all of his rogue gallery. Um, so, would you guys want to start with? So, what? Catwoman's episode 4, right? Because Clayface, and then it goes into Catwoman. So, I'm pretty sure that's
I think
4.
she might be 3 or 4.
I know that 3 is the Clayface episode
So,
off
it's
the top
probably
of my head.
4 then. Um,
I
how would you
remember
guys?
5 is Harley,
Yeah,
and
I'm about to be at Harley. Yeah.
then 6 is like the Knight Rider or whatever he is.
Let's go down the list. Well, we can do the whole list. I'm not gonna uh you know restrict any of them because I don't care. Spoilers. The whole episode's probably gonna have a bunch of spoilers. Let's run down the series. What do you guys think of episode 1?
I thought it was a fine first episode. I didn't really have any kind of issue with changing, the penguin to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's fine. It's its own universe.
Yeah.
But I feel like just this episode and just kind of how I feel about the entire season. Nothing super special. It feels like just a fun cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much just the original '90s Batman, but
hmm
modern.
Yeah.
And one thing, like with this show, I wish the episodes were more connected. Like the only two
Yeah,
that really feel connected is 9 and 10, and that's just because it's the whole Harvey Dent kind of stuff. Like I
and
wish the Penguin would have like showed back up maybe later on, or even maybe I know she probably will in the future seasons as a big threat.
that's just kind of my when I went through and I watched the '90s Batman cartoon.
hmm
It's overarching, yes, because things will be referenced in another episode, but they do have that this is the story we're telling this episode, and it's not going to matter. Whereas you take something like X-Men '97, which maybe I'm just comparing it to it because it's the most recent show that's come out, but that was even if the episode didn't directly link to the main story, there was still a connection,
hmm
and each episode just kept on building towards the next episode. It didn't feel like there was much filler. So, I don't know. I come into a show like this, and it's kind of just one-offs each episode. I'm like, oh, well,
To me, it's
that's
like I could have
fine.
skipped to like the end of the season and just watched a few of them and understood the whole season. Unlike with X-Men '97, where every episode was important and kind of built off of each other.
I will say like I don't I don't mind the whole sex change with the penguin. I felt the only thing I felt like what would have been a little bit better with Oswaldo was I didn't really like just like the same look. Like I wish it was just a little bit different. Like I know it's supposed to be the penguin, but I think just to make it more of like her own thing that they could have done like a little bit better on the design. Um,
Which I thought they did good with Harley
Harley
early
looked
on.
Mhm.
cool. A
Yeah.
little bit I've seen of her like the trailers and stuff before. I haven't seen the episode, but I've seen what she looks like. I think that looks really cool, and that's kind of what I was expecting. I thought her like Oswalda dancing at the beginning and like singing at the lounge, ice lounge, was gonna be like gimmicky when she's in that penguin outfit, but it kind of sticks, and I'm just like, I wish they would have done something a little bit better than just it's he's a woman now and same outfit. I just kind of that I felt like would have been more compelling of the character and stand out more if it was just designed a little bit different, like how they did Harley.
Mhm.
Other than like, I do like the grunt work that they have with like the brothers. I thought that was cool. That was a different take. Um, you got like the kind of dumber down one, and then well, they're kind of both like dumb, but they're fighting over Mama's love, and I thought that was unique. Did not expect her to throw that guy down into to the water. I was like, holy
Mhm.
shit, that's dark. Like fuck. Um, the Batman seems pretty cool. I like the voice actor. The voice actor is really cool, and I love this aspect where this is like 2 weeks into him being Batman or less. I can't remember what they said, but it's this cool dynamic that you don't really see that often with Alfred and Bruce because this Bruce is really playing. I know this is how he is in like the comics and the movies and everything, but he's really diving deep into Bruce Wayne is just a mask. I am not Bruce Wayne because even when he gets in the car with Alfred, he snaps into the Batman voice. He's talking to him as Batman because Bruce Wayne is just he's nothing to him. He's just a
Mhm.
mask for the public to make him look good and to get by. So I think it's really unique in this series that he's leaning into being Batman more than he is Bruce Wayne, like heavily. The voice change and how he's treating Alfred, like kind of like shit sometimes. From what
Mhm.
I've seen, of course, I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I feel like the show definitely is kind of what the haters of Robert Pattinson's Batman would prefer. Like, he's not an emo
Yeah,
kid running around. Like, yeah, he's still like the Bruce Wayne that you expect. A high society guy, but he's still Batman. That's what he wants to be. And I mean, it being the same creators behind, shoot, what's his name?
it was
Uh,
J.J.
Matt
Abrams
Reeves.
and Matt Reeves. Yeah,
Yeah, Matt Reeves being a part of it, like I can tell that that influence in the show.
I didn't expect the time period either. It's like very old school. I didn't expect that.
I mean, his mask and everything gives a lot of like first appearance Batman
Because
vibes.
I was like watching this whole time, I was like, I'd really like to see a Superman show. Set in the same time period. It'd be really nice.
I'm curious if we'll ever see like a Robin show up or anything like that, later in the seasons.
There's always a Robin. There's always a little orphan boy down the street. Batman's around. Um, episode 2 was shoot. What was episode 2?
I think that was actually the Clayface episode.
Was it? Oh, okay. Clayface. I really liked that episode. It was really fun.
Yeah,
I
that was my favorite.
It was really fun. Just because I didn't because they did a really different take from what I've read in the comics of I can't remember Clayface's name right now. Basil. Uh, I liked how he looked old, and I didn't expect that because at first I was like, "That's not Basil," because in the comics sometimes he's like this pretty boy actor.
Hmm.
Um, and then him kind of like leaving decoys was such a unique idea. I was like, him killing himself and then going out and killing the rest of them because of his appearance. I thought that was pretty unique, and just the story and whole of that one was really nice.
A lot of the villains throughout the show, they kind of give a good storyline too. Like there wasn't any that I thought like they threw together, like this doesn't make sense for this villain to be doing this.
Hmm. Catwoman was pretty nice. I think that was episode 3 then.
Hmm.
Um, I like her for she has I like that how she has like the old school outfit and stuff, and the dynamic, of course, between Bruce and her is like any other one that you'll see. Like they're slowly attracted to each other. Um, it's kind of hard to put together, like because it does like it is like one offs almost because it's like old school kind of cartoons where it's just like here's the adventure and then it goes to the next one. Then you'll have like a little bit of intertwining things, which is nice with like Harvey Dent. Um,
I'll say the fourth episode I think was Firefly.
Probably where
Tyler might know that. It was a pretty good episode. Like they used him as sort of like a scapegoat. I know you've not seen it yet, Avery, but
that was fun. You guys can spoil whatever.
just him, just that character. Because like I've not read many Batman comics or like watched many Batman shows. Um, and I thought it was just an interesting take on someone who was kind of down, and them to twist him and use him as a scapegoat. And then I think the next one after that is when you get to Harley.
Hmm.
And that was a kind of big surprise to me. Like I didn't catch the person that they were, who she was in her everyday life to be Harley. I think that was one of my favorite episodes too. Was the whole Harley thing because I've always liked Joker and Harley, and we'll get to the Joker later. But it was just nice to see her, not her stereotypical Harley, not like what you see in the Birds of Prey movie and Suicide Squad
Yeah,
and stuff like
not
that.
like a overly like misfit Barbie doll kind of look.
Hmm.
I enjoyed that.
I think that's like what DC kind of needs is a little bit of a different take on some things. The Harley retake of what I've seen little of, like the look and stuff, and how she acts as the therapist. It's nice to
Hmm.
see because she's more serious. I like that than the goofy, bubbly type goofball that she always is. That's a nice character too, but it's nice to do a little bit of a change. People always get upset. For example, like the new Joker movie. You know, there's and the director said that he's not going to become the crime prince or whatever they call him usually.
Hmm.
He's not going to become this mastermind of a villain. This version of him isn't. But I mean, it's not like the Joker is like he is a mastermind, but it's not like he's always planning stuff. He's kind of always on the whim of chaos. He's kind of just rolling with whatever he does. He just does it. He just doesn't really absolutely plan it. He just kind of like
It just happens.
it happens and he rolls with it. And I think that new takes is absolutely what we need instead of just rehashing the same old thing over and over and over and over.
So weird because in like franchises like a lot of comic books where there's multiverses,
Hmm.
people always want something new. They're tired of the retreading over the same plot points. But then you give them a new version of something, and then they hate that they changed something about the smallest little detail.
Yep. Yep. That's what drives me crazy. It's like when I did have Twitter, I deleted it not too long ago because it's just too much. I just see the most awful shit on my timeline when it's like I'm not even following this, and it's just like some horrific thing. But it kills me that like you're saying, you give them something different, comic book lovers or movie lovers or just the franchise loving that stuff. You give them something different because you don't want to just hash out the same thing because it's obviously not going to make the same amount of money and it's not going to keep the interest high. But they hate it, and it's just like if you have read a comic and you don't have to read comics to to just like different things or whatnot. But if you've read comics, there are so many things within them that change regularly. I mean, like you have a full series of one like Ultimate Spider-Man back in the day, and then now you got a new Ultimate Spider-Man that's completely different and everybody's loving it. That's a rare case of that. But then you do something like in the movies, like they say he's not gonna be a mastermind. They hate it, and he's more depressed, and he's in jail, and that's all these things. And apparently Harley's psycho already. It's just as far as I can tell, people just hate on it. They don't want something different.
Mhm.
But the comic source, they change so much. It's crazy how much they change.
Everybody wants, you know, the MCU to get their own Wolverine. But I promise you, the moment that somebody pops up on screen and it's officially going to be the new Wolverine, immediately, first thing you're going to see online is people, talking crap about him.
Where the fuck
So,
is Hugh? Where the
yeah.
fuck is Hugh? Till he's
But then,
90.
but then if Hugh Jackman shows up in Secret Wars, people are going to go, "Ah, he's just cashing in another paycheck.
Why the
I want
fuck
to
is
see
he
a new
here?
take on the character." Yeah,
The fuck is his old ass doing here? Bro, like that movie was such a good movie. I love it. I just looking back at it, I fucking love it. I don't care if I do want a new Wolverine. Like surprisingly, I do. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but I think there is plenty of actors that could do maybe better. I think that if we did like Tom Hardy has a fucking look of him. I don't know if he'd play him good, but he looks like a motherfucker that could play Wolverine.
That's the same thing with Robert Downey Jr. As soon as they brought him back to play Doctor Doom, everyone was like pissed at that.
Um, I I am not pissed about that. I think as long as they don't go down the route of using him as, and I'm sure it's like inevitable in some way of him being like a stand-in of Tony Stark,
Hmm.
and then they transform him, or he just has this underlying, hidden thing of I'm just going to use this as a mask right now because they're falling for this, or I don't know who these people are, but they think I'm somebody, so I can use this against them. I would like it more being like an evil way, but I kind of just want to see it as his own thing. Like, yeah, it's Robert Downey Jr., but I can get past that, and he's just a different character. Like, it's like
Hmm.
they do that in American Horror Story. I know it's not a different season, but you could still do it. There's plenty of TV shows and movies that do it.
I
I
know we
really hope.
touched on that last time, but yeah, I just hope it's not them bringing him back just because they know he'll draw money in
Hmm.
kind of situation. That's my only thing with it, really.
I feel like it's partially there. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's partially there. That's a big factor because they even got the Russo brothers back. I feel like that's a big one too. They're like, oh shit. All fans are definitely gonna be like, they did fucking Endgame. Of course it's gonna be great. And then they got Robert Downey Jr. Holy shit. You see what he did with Iron Man. But I honestly, I just want to see Doctor Doom being evil and like give me a compelling story. I don't I don't really want to, him to show up and everybody's like, "Holy shit, it's Tony, it's Tony." Like I don't want that. I want Doom, fucking Victor Von Doom, bro. Give me that shit. Fuck Peter Parker. No.
Cool.
I really hope they do something different with his next movie. Honestly,
Hmm.
instead of like the stuff they have been doing, we're still in that like childish era of Peter Parker.
This would be the perfect time for them to introduce someone like Black Cat or something, since no one knows who he is. And that's usually how that storyline goes. They could easily introduce someone like that in Spider-Man 4.
No,
I guess since we're sorry,
no,
I
you're
didn't mean
good.
to
Go
interrupt.
ahead.
I mean, I guess while we're already like deviating towards Marvel stuff just for a minute, um, I don't know like how legit it is, but I saw something that was like apparently the MCU can't use
Mm.
any Spider-Man villains that have been previously used by Sony.
I was legit gonna say that.
Oh, okay.
No, you're good. I was thinking that exactly when Chad was talking about that, like the villain things. I don't know how true it is, but I feel like that is a big shot in the foot,
We probably all seen the same TikTok.
probably. I don't. Oh god, I hope that's not true because that counts out Venom, Craven, Rhino, Morbius. I mean, fucking Carnage. Like I know there's still such a big rogue gallery. fuck, that is
But
such.
that takes out like the most well known.
Yeah, it takes out his mains.
Which I mean, that can allow them to explore other characters. Like, imagine if we got Mr. Negative.
That would be dope.
Like, like, so they can go down a different rabbit hole, but at the same time, you're not pulling in the well-known characters like Green Goblin, Sandman, Doc Ock.
If they really wanted to, they could bring in Miles before Sony fucking touches that shit, and then they would have his
Sony
own.
will.
Oh fuck, dude. I see if they would do if MCU could if they could just trade in Tom somehow, he's just done with Spider-Man. Spider-Man no more or whatever. And then they have Miles come in, and then he has his own rogue gallery. I know there's some that's the same, but like in the Ultimate Universe, you got like a Scorpion that's he's like full on Mexican cartel, and he's kind of fucked up, and I can't remember any other ones right now, but there's a good bit of rogue gallery with him, and they could do a good bit since they already showed off the Prowler, and that's been fucking years ago.
I'll say that's the main like villain I'd like to see for a Miles Morales movie. Would be Prowler.
Being his uncle.
That or even Hobgoblin.
Well, they could do Hobgoblin easily with
Ned.
And he's definitely lost weight, and he looks good now. That would be really cool. Maybe like I think this was like a theory a long time ago where it was like if Ned and MJ get together, and then Tom kind of reintroduces himself to them, kind of steals her away. Maybe that causes him to go down that path, and then finds his secret identity, and it kind of diverts. Instead of being excited, he's like, I'm gonna get my revenge.
Well, I guess maybe jump back on the Batman because we had a few more villains to talk about.
Marvel, man.
The I don't know what his name is, but he's like the Midnight Crusader, the Rider, the Ghost, episode 6. You might know it, Tyler.
That honestly might have been my least favorite.
I enjoyed it for what it was. I kind of like the more supernatural aspect that they went with that episode.
I think that's like my like not negative, but I'm not familiar with the character at all. But when the show feels grounded in reality for as much as it can be for being a cartoon, and then you just go and throw some paranormal stuff in there, it just feels really odd. But I don't know. That nothing against the episode. It's not bad. It was just the one that I was just kind of like, eh.
And then in episode 7, we had... Shoot, what was his name? It was like the group that were after him. I think it was like Onomatopoeia, the guy that talks in only the like bang pow. He was pretty interesting to see. I wish they would have done more with him because I felt like that was the weakest episode to me.
I remember I liked a lot of the action sequences in that one.
Let's see. We got Nocturna, the Carnival. That one was okay.
I remember that one took me like 3 or 4 attempts because I kept falling asleep in the first like 3 minutes. Like each night I put it on, and I'd start the next evening I'd put it on, and Michaela would be like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "The Batman show," and she's like, "Oh, okay. Didn't I see this part yesterday?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I fell asleep."
I luckily watched it this morning, so I had time. And then after that, it was the 2 with Harvey, which those, like I said, those were my favorite, I think.
And see, I think that's where the show shines, though, because the Harvey thing is the only like plot point that's really touched upon continually throughout the show. And that's the thing that was the most interesting, because it's a connected story. So I don't know.
I just kept hoping, like, as the episodes went on, like, we would see something like, oh, the penguin escapes or, breaks out. And they just reference back to some of the earlier ones that they can maybe bring up, at the beginning of season 2. which they
Yeah.
still can. The last episode we had the teaser of the Joker. I thought he was a very interesting take from the little part that we seen because he seems more of like a Joker with a plan, like how we talked about earlier with him not just being full chaos. So,
I think it'd be cool to see a Killer Croc.
well, I mean, it's a little appearance in there.
Oh well, never mind. I'll go fuck myself. Okay.
It's very brief. It's in the carnival episode. It's like 8.
All right. Well, what about the puppet guy? Tell me about the puppet guy. I forgot his name. The guy that
You
plays
want to
with the
play a
puppet.
game?
But
Jigsaw?
I forgot his name. It's the guy that it's like a
Riddler.
no. The guy that like actually uses a puppet and he has like a different personality. Like there's the guy and then he's holding the puppet and he usually has a machine gun and the puppet has like a completely different personality. It's like a
Jeff Dunham?
he's coming to Charleston.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's just
Uh,
a shot in the dark. That's all I gotta know with the puppet.
I don't know what his name is, but that would have been a pretty new one. But I'm gonna have to finish it up. Is there any D23 things you guys are like excited for other than maybe Doctor Doom and stuff like that?
I mean, I'm just waiting for Daredevil Born Again.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna be a good one.
I still haven't watched season 3 of Daredevil.
That's the last season,
I'm-
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like when those were coming out, I watched the first 2 seasons of Daredevil and loved them. I watched like half of Jessica Jones, and that would have been when we were in high school, and I was trying to balance all of the shows that were out at the same time, and I felt like a master list that put them like kind of like in chronological order. So when you got to like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Punisher, they were kind of like all overlapping, and I should not have done that. I should just binged them all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like season 1, bam, season 2, bam. But no. So it's to the point where I'm watching 3 different shows at once, and then I just completely forgot where I was at.
I'll say the only 2 that I watched was Daredevil and Punisher. I never watched Jessica Jones or Luke Cage.
I knew the
Or
other
Defenders.
shows, all the other shows I think take place before season 3 of Daredevil, I want to
Okay.
say. So I wanted to watch everything in chronological order, and then when you're that far behind, you just go, "Oh, screw it." But I definitely want to go back and watch all of those before Born Again comes out, because I don't know. That's really, I guess, the only immediate thing Marvel related that I'm interested in.
I think I sent y'all the little teaser. That was the Spider-Man
Yeah,
freshman years.
Yeah, that looks interesting.
The animations really I did not like because like it kept switching between 2D and 3D. It
Mhm.
seemed like.
and
Yeah,
I forget. Is this show supposed to be like the MCU?
no, it's not canon no more. Like
Okay.
when they originally showcased it, it was supposed to be, but then they changed it not too long after. Yeah, so it's just like its own little multiverse thing.
Okay.
It looks interesting. I didn't. Yeah, I do agree with the 2D thing, 2D and then 3D thing. I don't really like that most of the time. I think X-Men did it pretty good. It just kind of stands out with Spider-Man.
X-Men, it was more like that 2D animation. Like it's technically 3D animation,
Mhm.
but they allow a little bit more depth perception, I guess, in there. So it looks like it's 2D.
Yeah,
But
it looked really well.
yeah, like
Good.
it looked really good.
Oh shit, I had some and then it was like off my brain.
Also, the only other thing I can think of that was announced at D23 was Ironheart.
I'm not. I have zero interest for that show for some reason. Every time I see it.
I'll probably watch it just because I like how they're doing more of a magic versus tech kind of thing. It's just I hope it's good. I know the Hood's supposed to be involved somehow.
Like
I'm just wondering what that'll bring in.
in the comics, like there to some degree, there was like an AI Tony Stark talking to her. So I'm just like, I know she's more of like on the side of Wakanda now, isn't she? Like that's what she was with what she
Yeah,
was in
but
Black
then
Panther
when she
2 or
left,
something.
like she didn't get to take the suits. Now she's pretty much just broke and has like
Uh,
no suit or anything. So now she's just rebuild it.
I mean, I might watch it to give it a shot. I don't have like I don't really know that character that well, and I don't have too much interest in it, but I can give
Hmm.
it a shot. Um,
I know there was a few Star Wars announcements at D23.
There was like the Skeleton Cruise trailer.
Didn't they announce Andor season 2?
Yeah, there was no like official
Okay.
stuff for it, but I guess they showed like special footage at D23 for
Hmm.
Andor. There's one picture, the only one I think I've seen for Andor, and it's a picture of him, and he looks fully rizzed, like
Oh,
to the max. He's like in some like dress shirt looking thing. He looks snazzy. But yeah, there was that, and then Skeleton Cruise trailer.
and
But
Mandalorian.
then
oh
yeah,
yeah,
Mandalorian movie.
Mandalorian Grogu, yeah. Which the teaser for that leaked online, I felt like it was definitely leaning more into like um away from the silly, goofy one shot kind of thing that season 3 was doing,
Hmm.
and it felt a little bit more toned and serious. And I mean, and just seeing snowtroopers and an ATRT, I was like, I'm sold. But I just hope that like the story's fun.
See, that's how I felt with season one. That it just felt like this is a good branch off of the original trilogy. Like if you had just the world in general felt so good because it was like you get like the puppeteer type things, the actual like makeup design of creatures and stuff like that. And I know that they have that all through like the 3 seasons, but season 3 felt very goofy compared to 1 and 2. Like I like that serious tone it had. Like when you first see the Mandalorian, that first episode where he's going after those people and getting that bounty, I was like, shit, this show's gonna be so kind of dark and action packed, and then it kind of got a little goofy along the way. But that's what I thought was like, holy shit, this is gonna be killer.
Yeah, I remember that first episode. Like, shoot, I think he like uses his little rope, whatever thing that pops out of his gauntlet. I
Yeah,
think drags someone through the door and it shuts him in half, and then the I can bring you in warm,
yeah,
or I
dude.
can bring you in cold.
Hmm.
That's when you're like, this guy's cool. And like, yeah, like there are some goofy parts in between season 1 and 2, but I feel like they had a good balance, and then season 3 was just a
It was
train
just like,
wreck.
let's go full on goofy and everybody's side story in this one. Um,
Skeleton Crew, I mean, that looks fine as like a more family friendly adventure kind of show.
mhm.
But I cannot get over seeing like 80s suburban houses in Star Wars. I saw that shot of it literally just looking like generic street in, Indiana, and I'm like, really?
This is where we are now. This is Star
um,
Wars.
it was giving off more just like, I don't know, like a Star Trek,
Oh well,
just a generic sci-fi kind of vibe.
it's gonna be like a
Hmm.
long time ago in the current day right now, boy. Let's go.
But other than that, like I thought the Crew trailer looked fine.
When I originally heard of that series, I thought it was gonna be a dark kind of like pirate type thing. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, with the Acolyte, they said it was gonna
yeah,
be,
they talked that shit up.
it was Sith driven, and then Skeleton Crew, they're like, it's the Stranger Things of Star Wars, and
Yeah,
if anything, no,
it's like it has kids. Stranger Things, don't you get it? Like, come on now.
yeah, it's a bunch of teenagers doing things. You guys will like that, right?
How-
Look, we're upside down.
it's the
Like
upside down.
Star Wars, I don't know, like the way that I guess they like receive reception to shows kind of ties into. I think I sent you guys Tamora Morrison,
Yeah,
his
where he's
thing.
yeah.
He's like, yeah, I think the show kind of negatively impacted the character returning. And I want to be like, I don't think that they understand that when we hate or have a criticism about the show, it doesn't mean that we don't like the character.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you give us a show on Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Ahsoka. We don't hate on Book of Boba Fett because we don't like Boba Fett. There's criticisms towards the show because it wasn't even his own show. There's criticisms on Obi-Wan Kenobi, not because we don't like Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Mhm.
but because the show has issues. We don't hate on Ahsoka because we hate Ahsoka. Well, I mean, like, I like Ahsoka for the most part, but, they see these things, and the same thing's going to happen with the Acolyte, where they're going to see, oh, fans don't like the High Republic era, or they don't like Darth Plagueis.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that we don't like them, we
It's
just
just
didn't
the stories
care
aren't
for the
good.
show. Yeah. So they're just going to say, well, no more High Republic, no more Boba Fett.
Here's more Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I love that. They're like all these years of like this badass Boba Fett and all these different stories of how he wants the money and he's just making a living, and then you give this one where he's like, I'm Papa Smurf for this village, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on here? This isn't
Yeah.
what the fuck. Yeah, it's just a story, and I can't. Every time I think of Book of Boba Fett, I know this is like the stupidest thing to think of. And it doesn't make me hate the show, and it doesn't have anything to do with my opinion on the show. It's just that one guy that does the fucking spin and then shoots. I'm just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this? Like that
Peter Chase.
does not affect my opinion whatsoever. But I'm just like, that's some goofy ass shit right there. And the speeder bike chase scene. I feel like I could jog next to him.
You can
Yeah.
outrun them doing
Yeah,
that.
like what the fuck is this? For the most part, it was a fun show. There is parts I really enjoyed in it. I loved seeing Boba Fett crawl out of the Sarlacc pit. I loved him having a Rancor and like taming it. Um, the biggest highlight was like Boba and Mando fighting side by side. I thought that was badass. It kind of felt goofy that they were still shooting at the big droid when it has a force field. They're like, we can't get through, and they're just all still shooting at it. So it's like, why?
Okay.
Why are we doing this? But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad show, and I don't think that should. I wish it wouldn't make them cancel him in his own like character because he is a great actor, and I know he's getting older, so
He probably doesn't have many years left in the tank to
no.
maybe 5, unless they
Um,
want to bring him back. If he wanted to play like Captain Rex or something, and like Ahsoka, I think he could pull that off. But
yeah, that'd be fun. Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna pause this. I am recording again. Everybody's asleep now.
It's getting close. I feel like we've covered a lot of the D23 announcements though, because those were the big Marvel and Star Wars kind of things. The only other big thing I think of is the I don't know if y'all watched Avatar.
Oh,
nah,
I've watched both of them. I like them, but they're super long. The
Mhm.
concept art looks really interesting with the fire
They're
version.
is that what next year?
Man, it was like
I think
what
it's next year.
3 hours for the last movie they did, the second one.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool, but like I felt like they could have done a little bit different stuff instead of bringing back like old characters and whatnot. But that's pretty decent. I'll watch the third one. Um, there is one thing before we move away from Star Wars. Outlaws. The game Outlaws.
Comes out what in like 9-10 days, I think.
Yeah, I will say, and I hate saying this because I'm a big Star Wars fan. I feel like lately I've been teetering away in some ways because we're just getting so much stuff, and I have a problem keeping up with some shows unless it's really intriguing me. But Outlaws, I feel like is not going to be great. I don't feel like it's going to be great.
From everything I've seen, it looks good, but looks can be deceiving.
I think I'm gonna wait for actual reviews to come out before I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, it's a Star Wars game. I want to play it.
Yeah.
It's just nothing about it has like hooked me in to like want to check it out.
Nothing. Yeah. The trailers haven't really convinced me to play it. The gameplay reveal, it kind of looks bland in a way. Like it's cool. I love exploring worlds in Star Wars. That's why I love Cal Kestis' story. Like you just get to talk to people, you get to go in places, you get to explore. It's really fun. Even though there was a shit ton of parkour in the second one, it was still fun to go exploring.
Mm-hmm.
Outlaws, seeing what I have seen, has not drew me in the slightest. Really, I think it looks cool. I think it looks the it looks pleasing. You know, yeah, I think it'll have its own audience, but I don't think I'll be playing it straight off, the rip. Um, and also today, like games wise, seeing more of Indiana Jones is pretty cool. Seeing the pre-order stuff is pretty neat. Uh, I think pushing the PS5 back until like spring 2025 is kind of nuts, but it is what it is.
You gonna be playing that Evil Dead Halloween arcade style game?
They look fun. I will not lie. They look fun. But I'm more interested in seeing what the other Halloween game is. And I don't know if they're doing another Evil Dead game, but I know they're developing another Halloween game. So the
Yeah, 'cause I
arcade
know
ones look fun.
the official announcement came out and it was like, we have 2 Halloween games in production. John Carpenter's,
Mm-hmm.
working directly with the developers to bring you, new stories. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm assuming it's story driven. Next day, oh, actually, here's one of the the games, and it's just an arcade game.
I was so. I'm not going to say disappointed, but kind of surprised. I was like, what? What is this? It was like almost like. It almost felt like a cash grab for some people. Like, oh, they'll eat this shit up, type thing.
My thing was, those are 2 franchises that have nothing in common.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, what Evil Dead has connections to Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Hmm.
Halloween has no connection. So it's weird to see, because like the Halloween level looks more like you're playing Michael breaking out of prison.
Yeah.
You're playing Michael killing kids on Halloween night. Then the Evil Dead is like you're playing as Ash going through interdimensional travel to defeat demons, and it's like what?
Just a little different.
Yeah, and then you can cross over, and then what? You're gonna have Michael going through space and time, killing demons, and Ash, what? Just killing kids?
It's
I
weird.
guess I don't.
It's weird. It's
Demon
super weird.
kids.
Yeah.
I still have yet to play the Evil Dead game. I know you said it was pretty good, but then now that I look at it, people aren't playing it as much. So I'm like, there's no point for me to play now.
Yeah, they didn't have support for very long. Maybe like 6 to 8 months after it came out, and I mean, I'm not like a big multiplayer kind of person either. So you take something like that where it's majorly multiplayer, and I think upon release it had like 3 or 4 not campaign missions, but it was more like, I guess I'll call it a campaign mission.
Objectives.
Yeah, because it would be like, you're playing as Ash during the first movie. You need to go do this. And then the next level, you're playing as Ash in the second movie. And you
Okay.
need to go do things that happen in the movie, but obviously it's not exactly like it is in the movie because it's a game. The third mission has nothing to do with like anything. You're playing as Army of Darkness Ash killing the demon in the show Elagos, I think.
Like the pale one.
Yeah. You're like going after that demon, but you're Army of Darkness Ash.
So it feels more like tutorials than anything.
Yeah, and like they were still fun, but they weren't like actual stories. And then they put out a DLC with Mia from the remake, and I don't think I actually played the game when they put out the like remake updates, just because it was the same old kind of stuff. So I mean, I played a little bit of online.
It always seems like those games compete with Dead by Daylight, and they can just never hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have Dead by Daylight, you have Evil Dead, you have
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, which is that one's not available anymore, is
No,
it?
it's dead. They completely shut
No.
it down.
Okay, and then you have
Killer Clowns.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre and
Yeah.
Killer Clowns, which I never is Killer Clowns active at all?
It's from when I had read it. I deleted it a couple weeks back. I deleted Twitter. The people on the community were saying that it's just getting more glitchy and there's no fixes coming. There's people, even I've experienced this too, where you will be a clown and they're kind of slower. They have a recharge on certain things. And if the players want to fuck you up, they will gang up on you and they will insta kill you. Basically, there's no you can't really defend yourself that much. So it's kind of like fun sometimes, and you get glitchy matches, and it's just one of those games. It's not gonna keep the player base because updates will fall off again because it is made by Ilphonic. They did really good with Predator up until they just kind of stopped, and then I guess they went to Killer Clowns. So from what I've read and seen, the player base is kind of dipping.
And I guess
So,
Chainsaw's the same way.
Yeah.
looking at Steam charts, it usually has like a number on there, and you can see how many people are playing. If it doesn't have a number, which Killer Clowns does not, it means there's
Damn.
less than 300 people playing.
So there's probably more people on console than Steam. That's crazy. So yeah, that's not good. Um, I swear I think I've read, and I might be making this up, that Evil Dead the game was. I think they were stopping the support for it. Yeah, I don't. I might have to fact check that, but that I think is true. I can give that a little quick search real quick.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, real quick, is still getting updates.
It is.
It
Okay.
has about 1,000 players online right now on Steam.
That's not terrible. That's not terrible. So that
It's
seems
also
like
double XP weekend, so like if people are really into the game, they might be more inclined to play this week.
I feel like I got that free somewhere, but I can't remember where.
I wanted to play the Texas Chainsaw game, but
It was fun. I'm not gonna
once
lie.
again, is there any like what isn't there just like 2 maps?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah, it's fun because I mean, you actually it. Out of all the games that I've played, like Friday the 13th and Killer Clowns and that one, I really liked Chainsaw one because there was such. You had like 3 killers, and then you had all the people from the movies. Yeah, and it felt cool. They all had their different little takes. I mean, obviously, like it represented who they were in the movie, their ways of killing, and like their abilities. I thought that one was pretty fun. That one was actually pretty cool. Killer Clowns is cool, but it just I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Like at this point, they're probably just gonna pick Hellraiser as like the next horror franchise to do like a game like that, and it's just gonna be what you playing like a 5-on-3 Cenobite fight. Like and
I've always felt like if you've played any of them, I know Chad has. I think the Telltale games people. I always think that they make these really good story-driven games that aren't completely action-packed and they're based on your decisions, I feel like a horror game would be great for that. You know, Freddy or, Jason, Michael Myers, any of them, because it's story-driven, you can get a actual good story, and you can make decisions in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a good route to go, but Telltale, it seems like they're not as big as they used to be because of that whole situation that happened with them, but
They're coming back.
they are
They're
coming back.
making The Wolf Among Us 2.
I can't wait for that. That is such a banger of a game, the first season of it, but I've always thought that they could do really good in those genres instead of just making them a hide and seek, chase to kill people type thing because they always inevitably die off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess we're not getting any Freddy stuff at all.
I don't.
So.
Oh, dude, I think you saying that has jogged my memory. At Walmart right now, they have a T-shirt that's up, and it's Jesus, I had a like brain fart from the heavens, man, just now. It was Elm Street. God, I'm getting tired, guys. Elm Street shirt, but it's not the old Freddy Krueger. It's the new one. It's the reboot. I was like, that's such a weird thing now to have. Like, why is he on there?
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I think I'm one of the only people on Earth that actually somewhat like the remake.
It was good.
Like, I mean, like, I do think that, he's not as good of a Freddy as Robert Englund, but it's a different take on Freddy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, and it leans more into the actual pedophile, I guess, side of Freddy.
I think that was like the big thing that everybody didn't really get down with, was that part.
They're like, in the original movies, it's only hinted that he diddled kids, but now that they're officially saying he diddled kids, and I'm like, yeah, it's messed up, but
it's a horror movie.
In a horror movie, your killer, your villain, they're not like in a fantasy series where you're supposed to find some kind of redemption story.
You're not supposed to support the fucking monster.
Yeah, you come to watch them kill people, or you're wanting them to die. It's
Yeah, that was the weird one.
But no one bats an eye when in Halloween 6, Michael knocked up his niece. And,
yeah.
We could turn a blind eye to that and just say, yeah, well, oh well.
Yeah, that was a very strange one. That was a very strange one. Now that you bring that up, oh Lord, fuck, Freddy being a pedophile, and Michael being incest. Holy fuck.
At least Jason's just chilling.
Yeah, he's chilling.
Just got his mommy issues.
And mommy issues, and Chucky's just trying to possess children.
I really think that what probably hurt the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, though, is, during the 2000s, it was just constant remakes of original horror movies.
Yeah.
And shoot, I think the Nightmare one came out in 2009, 2010. I know it was towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, it was that was old news to have a remake.
Wasn't Friday the 13th around that time too?
Yeah.
I think it was 2009.
Yeah, I think Friday was 2009, Halloween was 2007, Nightmare was 2010. But the Texas Chainsaw remake in 2003, that one's really good.
I didn't mind the first Rob Zombie Halloween movie.
That one's one of those where I don't mind it as a different take on Michael. I prefer my Michael to be just kind of either no motive, he's just a killing machine.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it is more of a realistic interpretation of, well, this is how a kid gets messed up and ends up doing these things. But that second movie was just
horrible, dog shit.
Yeah, so
atrocious.
I mean, so when I think about Rob Zombie's Halloween, I just immediately think Halloween 2.
Yeah,
I don't think it worked Halloween.
that one had a bad taste. I will not lie. I like some of his movies. I like what's it fucking called? I just watched him not too long ago. Ah, fuck. The Three People. Damn.
Watched any of Rob Zombie's other movies?
Fuck. They're some. God, I can't remember. It's just it's the woman, the guy. I guess they all play in the same fucking movies he does anyway. So me saying that's dumb. Something Devil.
Devil's Rejects.
Devil's Rejects. That one was pretty good. That one was pretty good, just because how nutty it was. Second one sucked ass, but the first one's pretty good. But I will say I didn't like the whole kid thing in Halloween, the first one. For his movie, I didn't like the whole. I get it that they're trying to say like this is how serial killers in real life, but I don't. I'm not watching this movie to really connect it to real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a big, bulky motherfucker that is killing people.
Yeah.
That's all I really need. That's why the old ones hold up so good, and the newer ones. The last one was I don't know. In my opinion, I didn't like it as much, but
The new trilogy, it's one of those things where like the first one, I think the first one's good, but where they did the whole like the ending is like we are going to have sequels.
yeah,
Where I remember the original rumored ending to the 2018 movie was that like after the fight at the end, I think Laurie's like severely hurt, and they don't like confirm if she dies or not. But like Michael's supposed to be like I think stumbling through the woods in the backyard, like kind of Laurie's house, and then he like collapses or something in the woods to like suggest that he dies. But then they're like, well, if the movie does well, we want to have more sequels. So if we just leave him in the basement, then we can bring him back and say he doesn't burn in the fire. But
I thought that was a good ending with him burning.
yeah,
I thought that was good.
and like I don't think Kills is a good movie story wise, but it does what the title says of the
yeah,
movie.
it was full of it.
Michael killing the entire time.
It had really cool kill scenes and stuff. It really did push that.
And I like Corey's character and Ends a lot. I just wish that the movie trilogy would have been planned out ahead of time so you could have introduced him at least in Kills.
I feel like COVID really had a big factor, like a way bigger factor than
Yeah.
if we didn't have COVID, it might have played out a little bit different. I did like
And
his character.
yeah, like I thought his character, like, I mean, it's another take on, Michael's backstory in this timeline is that, he's just evil. He just wants to kill. You put him somewhere, he is going to kill people. What made him snap? You don't know. This movie is showing what makes Corey snap. And I thought they did a fine job at that. I really don't have an issue with Ends as like a movie itself, like a standalone kind of movie. If you just look at it and let's take Michael out of it and just replace him with generic serial killer that killed, haunted this town many years ago, it's fine.
Yeah.
But you throw it in as it's a Michael movie, and you see Michael get his butt kicked by
Stomped.
by like a 25-year-old in a
We're taking his
sewer.
mask. He's fucking give me that shit, boy.
Yeah, and then I mean the ending fight with Michael and Laurie is kind of anticlimactic because it's really quick, but at the same time you're watching two 60-year-olds
Yeah.
fight, so I don't really know what you're expecting. So I don't know. I like Ends. It's honestly probably top 5 in the Halloween franchise for me.
It was something. I will say, like, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. the whole, like, paranormal type thing, it was, like, the mindset
Yeah,
type thing, I was like, "Eh."
kind of like the whole. I mean, like metaphorically with the eyes, kind of thing. As a metaphor, I'm down with, but and people, making the assumption that it's like when Corey looked at Michael's eyes, it was like an essence transference
Yeah.
between the two. I'm like, I read that more as like he looked into Michael's eyes, and it was more of like a, I think I'm like him.
Yeah.
He saw the darkness in Michael's eyes, and he realizes I'm like Michael. Not that Michael's body's like, I need a young host so that I can
Yeah.
kill again. No, that's
Possessing
stupid.
type shit.
Yeah, like this isn't what Friday. Jason Goes to Hell when
Oh,
Jason
yeah.
gets blown up and then his like spirit hops between multiple bodies the entire movie.
That was a weird one. That was a weird one.
Yeah.
If they do a new one, I hope, which, I mean, I don't know where they would go with the story, but or maybe just do another fucking reboot. I don't know. Something. I don't want I don't want the character to, diminish away.
I would like, I guess, like the rumor, like show that'll take place. I think that's what I've seen, like suggested that the next live action interpretation will be maybe more set on like Michael in prison as an adult and focus on like Loomis, that kind of dynamic,
Hmm.
which could be fine, but I
Could be
guess
interesting.
you'll need at least Michael killing somebody in the show
So the
somehow.
very last scene of the season is just him strangling somebody, or he
Yeah,
picks up a knife and then it cuts to black. You're like, fuck,
yeah.
fuck. Oh man. I always
You
what was it? The second one where he comes in and he kills Lori or whatever it is. In the original movies in the hospital.
in Resurrection.
Always like the idea. I think it would be a fun game, if it was just like your. I know it's like back to hide and seek and shit, but I always thought Michael in a hospital is fucking creepy, dude. He's just like going around. He's like lurking. I thought
Oh,
that was fucking creepy.
yeah, because like in how the original Halloween 2, well, Michael's in a hospital a lot of the time,
Yeah, yeah. He
but like
knows.
yeah, the original Halloween 2, just any shot of him in the hospital is creepy. Like there's a scene where like the nurse gets in the hot tub, cause
Yeah, yeah.
and then Michael just grabs her and just like pushing her face down in the scalding water. Oh, just Michael's mask in Halloween 2 being all like uh, dirtied up, and I don't know, it looks super cool.
It's like a him in a hospital. Kind of like it makes me think of like a Grim Reaper. Like him just like killing everybody in the hospital, and like he just goes like in these rooms, and people think it's just it's the end of their time. Some like old person. It's just
Hmm.
it's such a creepy like aesthetic. I don't know why. It's like the lighting and everything. It just makes him creepier to me. I don't know why.
I want the trend in horror movies of hospitals having no staff whatsoever, though.
Yeah,
That will
yeah.
irritate me more than anything if I'm watching a movie. Like, I know that night shift is going to be not as packed as day shift. I'm not expecting it to be super busy, but it seems like, what, in Scream 5? Yeah, in Scream 5, there's like a whole sequence in the hospital, and I think it's like Ghostface kills one of the like nurses or security guards, I think, in the building, and you see their body off camera, and you don't see another living soul in the building other than the main characters.
Was it not broad daylight too? I can't remember if it was or not, but it was. I do remember that because didn't he kill like one of the main characters as well?
Yeah, he kills Dewey,
I
and
yeah.
yeah, that go. I remember that one. Well, first of all, you kill off Dewey, who's important to the franchise, and then if you're actually keeping track between the two Ghostfaces in that movie, that's supposed to be the girl. who's like probably 5'6", even though Ghostface in that scene is like an average, adult male height.
That's strange now I look back at that. I never noticed that.
Yeah, because Jack Quaid's character, he's running from Ghostface during that whole sequence, so that leaves it to be the girl.
Huh.
Which, I mean, like, there's other times in the franchise where, like, who's supposed to be Ghostface when you go back and rewatch it doesn't really add up, like, size or strength-wise. But that one, I'm just like, I guess. She's got some stilts in those boots, and
at this point, I'm kind of I've watched them all, and it's just not hitting the same.
I'm not a Scream guy for the most part. I like the original and 4.
Original's really good, yeah.
Yeah, I like 4, I guess, because it's more. I feel like it's the darkest in tone, other than like 6, which I like 6 too. But I guess like it felt very predictable. Which, I mean, you watch one Scream movie and then you start picking up on.
Yeah, getting to your 6th one, you're like, I can probably spot them out before they even show it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I didn't like the show that much. I watched a little bit of it and passed on it.
I haven't started the show, and I don't have any plan to.
Yeah, it's not that great. That's what worries me about like doing shows for these characters, like Friday the 13th and Halloween. I know Chucky is getting some success with his, but it just kind of worries me because you can't really do what you do in the movies with like the gruesomeness and all that.
Yeah, and also like the character type, like Chucky, I think can get away with it a lot more because, I mean, he's a little doll that,
Talks a lot.
talks a lot, does obscene things, whereas Michael, Jason, they're just these big lumbering beings that don't speak and just stand there.
Right.
It's kind of hard to make a whole TV show out of that
They could
without
really
your survivors having like good written development.
with Nightmare on Elm Street. They could really do something if they did a TV show. They could do something like psychological with it.
Mm-hmm.
They could easily do that. I don't think Chad fell asleep.
No, I mean,
Is there anything you guys want to touch up on before ending it?
nothing I can think of. I think we kind of covered everything that's recent and what we want to talk about.
Trying to think.
I'll say I know we have Agatha, like the first 2 episodes coming out beginning of September, but I'm not sure if it'll be before we next meet.
Yeah, and Alien Romulus.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go watch that, but I don't know if I'll be able to make it out before it's out of theaters.
It's in theaters right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it came out last week.
Oh shit, I didn't know it was that long ago. Fuck. There's like, man, TikTok is like, I've almost got spoiled of 2 things, and it's not even about the story. I guess it's just like, I'm not even gonna say it, but
I think I saw something regarding something towards the end of the movie that is a connection to other. Yeah, I've it's one of those like spoilers where like I know something is kind of like iffy in the fan base with how people react to it, but I don't know exactly what it is.
if it's the same thing I've seen, it was just a picture. I've seen 2 of them. It does connect with the old ones, and I'm all for it. I will say that.
Mine was just like a comment, somebody
Oh,
saying
okay.
something.
Well,
So I don't even know, like, other than, I mean, can I name the movie that it's
Yeah.
referring to? Prometheus?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm assuming it has to do with an engineer. I mean, don't say anything, but I'm just
I'm not.
assuming.
No. Shoot. I hate spoilers. I hate this the culture of if you see it, record it, post it
Post it online the
immediately.
day of.
The second you fucking see it, pull your phone out whole time of this movie. Let's not actually enjoy the art of this movie. Let's just post everything and not care because I like likes. If you're that type of person, I'm sorry, but go fuck yourself, please. You're horrible.
Like Alien was the. I mean, like I expect to see spoilers for like Star Wars, Marvel, any super big property like that when it comes out. I expect that.
Yeah.
But and I'm not saying like Alien's not big, but it's a franchise that's been pretty dormant the past couple years. And it's more like a one-off kind of movie just to get interest back in it. Same thing with like, Prey did.
Yeah.
And the movie comes out and like literally the next day I think I was on TikTok and I saw something about Romulus and I just like it wasn't even like a spoiler kind of like video. It was just I think someone just talking about it and I open up the comment section and I start seeing something about Prometheus and I just click out of it because I'm like, it just came out
Yeah.
yesterday.
It's that type of shit you're like, you just want to throw your phone. Like, what the fuck? No reason. Lock it and just toss it. I'm still gonna watch it. I'm excited for it. That's probably like that and Beetlejuice I'm really excited for. And Beetlejuice, they've been posting clips, and what worries me is that Michael Keaton has said he gets like 5 minutes in the whole fucking movie, and then they keep showing clips. It might be more than that. It might be 15.
He's only in it. I was about to say 5 is pretty.
Well, he in interviews he said that they're keeping it short, just like the first movie, because they don't want to overdo his character, where they kind of keep that still, I guess, mystery to him and stuff like that. I can't remember. It was a pretty low number, but I'm looking forward to those two movies.
I think it was 15.
What's it, 15? I feel like 15 sounds more right than 5, honestly. But yeah, that one's I'm excited for. But I think that wraps up the second episode, and not not a lot, but I think we did pretty good on this one.
Yep. Covered a lot.
Yeah. Next one we should probably have more too. I mean, with the movies coming out and TV shows and whatnot.
I'll say if y'all can think of any shows to watch or something, I can watch anything. I'll say we can talk about it, playing something out.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything going on right now? I mean, we got Agatha starting next month, but
That's all I can think of.
okay, so Agatha doesn't come out until the 18th.